Hey boys, it's me! I'm actually not wearing any pants today. How exciting is that? Don't get too excited. Wait till I show you this build first. So this is a shape-shifting hybrid druid that I have here. So this is one of the variants and that I kind of, you know, tossed together before 2.4. So I'm pretty happy I can finally get this one out to you. So this one is unique because I'm using the other unique Thundermaul. So not the Cranium Basher, but the Earth Shifter. So I've always been interested in trying to build something around this because I really like the idea of it. You've got 7 elemental skills, which is massive. You've got 30 increased attack speed, which is kind of generous for a very slow base. Really good enhanced damage. I think this one is 2% off perfect, which is great. It can actually roll ethereal, so I did have a look, boys, but yeah, I couldn't get one. It does have Crushing Blow in there, which is nice, and it has 25% chance to cast level 14 Fissure. And I was like, 14, is that strong enough? And after doing some, you know, testing and messing about, it is strong enough. And I found it really cool at 25%. Maxing that out with synergies, you do a lot of damage when you're you have enough attack speed on once you have a shale in here. Slapping around with Fury, proccing a bunch of fissures, it does a lot of AoE. Now, it is only level 14, so some of you are thinking, oh, it's kind of pointless. But Fissure, remember, when it gets cast on the ground, it's in an area. So when a mob walks over it, it's taking damage each time it walks over one of those cracks along that whole fissure radius. So like if an enemy is chilled or frozen, well, not completely frozen, but if they're slowed and they walk across there, they're going to take more hits from the fissure. So it's not just you cast it once and then it just does 1,000 damage, but you know, in this case it's going to be doing however many ticks as long as they're walking over the fissure. So the more that you cast around, the more the enemies are moving around, you know, you're going to be doing some damage. So let's get into it, I guess. We'll go stats, skills, gear, whatever. We'll see what not Wahid was doing, but we'll see Al-Hazir. And yeah, there we go, boys. So level 84 druid. My strength is higher, obviously, because I'm using this. So Thundermaul does require 253 strength, so I have 256. And as some of my other builds, when I do invest heavily into strength, I tend to not put anything into dexterity. As you see, base is 20, and I dump the rest into vitality. Really good thing about this is there isn't really any negatives of not investing into dexterity, because I have skills into Fury and Feral Rage and, you know, shifting into Werewolf. We get a big chunk of attack rating, so attack rating is not an issue at all. I don't need to use Demon Limb or anything like that, so very happy, very happy. With resistances, I didn't bother too much about cold and poison, but I maxed out fire and lightning first. I didn't have any issues with these. You may find that you need to put more in these depending on where you are actually farming, boys, so keep that in mind. So further down here, little things that are relevant. Attack speed is 70, but with my investment into Werewolf, because Werewolf gives you increased attack speed, with my level of Werewolf and with Shale in the Thundermaul, that is actually enough to reach my highest potential frames, which is, I think, close to 3.5 hits per second or something with Fury. But that allowed me to free up a few other spots. So like on my Jalals here, I do have a fire facet in there for extra damage instead. So that's a good thing to note. So when you're making this, make sure if you're planning it on D2 Planner, just double check that you have your Werewolf up so you can check your attack speed frames with that first. So further down here, other things to note, we have 48 Crushing Blows, so we've got 33 coming from this big bonk, 46 Deadly Strike as well, boys. So hop on over to the skills. So Elemental, I've got just 2 points into here for Cyclone Armor. It's not too much, but I felt like it was worth just putting 1 in there since we do get +7 skills from the actual Thundermaul itself. What the heck. I maxed out Firestorm as well as Volcano because obviously they are both synergies of Fissure. So we're maxing that sucker out. Now, what else we got is 1 point down here into Armageddon. May not seem like much. The duration is a bit lower at 12 seconds, so you do have to keep the uptime going, which I'm still getting used to, I'll admit. But maxing out both Volcano and Firestorm adds a lot of damage. They're both synergies to Armageddon. So we get 14% fire damage per level from there, and we get 18 damage per level from Volcano. So that 18 damage is actually physical damage. So it helps, you know, kind of split your coverage evenly. Now, across two shape-shifting skills, max out Werewolf first, as I always recommend, because you've got your attack speed and everything coming from there. I decided not to max out Lycanthropy because I need to invest more heavily into my synergies. That's fine. Other builds, you know, other people may recommend putting more. Absolutely. I just wanted to, you know, get heavily I wanted to heavily invest into my fire elemental skills. So that's why. So it's base 6. So my past few levels I have been investing in here. So I will be going there in the future as I level up. So I've got 1 point down here. So bing bong into maxing Fury. So yeah, if I had issues with, you know, my survivability, I would probably take a few out of Fury and you know, bump up my Lycanthropy close to about 10 to 15. So summoning, I've got only 2 points in here because I invested so heavily into my elemental skills. Just 1 Oak Sage and 1 Heart of Wolverine, just depending on where I kind of need them. You know, if I feel like I need a bit more damage and attack rating, chuck that out. And then more survivability, chuck out the Oak Sage. Pretty easy. But don't... you know, don't neglect these just because I didn't put them in. It's still very worth it, just putting 1 point across the board down here. Summon Grizzly with plus skills, he would have been at 8. Same with these fellas, you can get out some great meat shields for just like 4 skill points straight down the middle, boys. So just because I didn't do it, you know, doesn't mean you shouldn't. El Hazir, what do we got? He is rocking Andariel's Fortitude and Infini, and he's got the Might Aura, so he's going to be helping me amp up physical damage with Might, and then Conviction from the Infinity to amp up our fire damage. So what do we got here? This is the Earthshifter Thunder Maul. We've got 33 chance of Crushing Blow and the 25% chance to cast level 14 Fissure on Striking is what we're aiming for. So when we're slapping out, we're going to be proccing the AoE Fissures. So we're going to be smacking all the dudes right in front of us and then burning all the boys in the back as they're walking in. So I love it. We've got Jalal's Mane it's pretty much a best in slot for like most shape-shifting variants, right? It gives so many plus skills, everything you want, bonus AR, you've got hit recovery, you know, strength, energy, whatever, resistances, blah, blah, blah. I chucked a facet in there because, as I said, don't need the increased attack speed. High Lords don't really need the attack speed, but, you know, +1 skills. The Deadly Strike is amazing, so I did it. Fortitude is kind of a no-brainer. Massive ED and everything on there. Laying of Hands, damage, fire res. I've got dual leech with resistances. I've got string of ears with life leech and DR, Raven Frost, and then Gore Riders. So further down here, I've just got my kind of attack rating and damage. I have my Nyla Small Charm, Hellfire Torch. 1 here, attack rating and damage with faster run walk, and then the rest is shape-shifting skillers. So, I mean, shape-shifting skillers, I'd say the ideal ones to get would be movement speed. Would be really cool. Really cool to get some of those. But I reckon enough chit-chat, boys. Let's get into it, eh? Alright, so we can switch over here. Oh, the boys are catching up. So I've got my Hodo and I've got my Spirit, so that's going to give me an extra +5 when I cast into my Werewolf. As you can see, it's level 40, so I can cast my Summons, and then I can switch back to my Elemental skills, and then I can cast up my Cyclone, so that's up to 15, and then my Armageddon. Here we are. Even if you guys only have like a couple of spirits or anything, it's, you know, it's definitely still notable and worth it, I would say, to chuck that on switch to get extra, you know, an extra bang for your buck. Oh, I need to get my Fury Rage up. Make sure I do that. As you can see, the Fissure's already proccing there. We do a good chunk of physical damage as well. I love the coverage in this. I really do. Here we are. I think there's about 2 or 3 fissures there. Like, 1 fissure does cover a decent radius as well. So you can definitely notice when you've got a couple of them. Come on, give us a big pack of cows. Come on, boys. Here we are. Here we go. Here's a nice pack, boys. Here we are. Someone's a dead, but who cares? We wreck shit anyway. This is a really fun variant. I'm so excited to test other weapons and stuff now with the shapeshifting druid, because they fixed up how the IES frames are kind of calculated. It opens up a lot more opportunities to mess around with weapons. Like before, I wouldn't even considered an item like this. I found it so entertaining and I've considered using it, but it was so damn slow. But now how they change things up, you know, it makes it pretty viable, as you can see. Look at the fissure just wreck everything there, and then Armageddon rains down. This is such a fun build. I love the AoE that it gives. It's great. If you guys want to see some more like druid variants or, you know, something else, please let me know. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to end it there. I got excited. I cleared the other half of the cow level before I even started the video. But I hope you guys enjoyed that. Please let me know if you have like other ideas, other weird things that you'd like for me to kind of test in the shapeshifting form, because I think there's a lot of cool potential things. But yeah, let me know, and I hope you guys are having a good day and staying hydrated.